Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. I do have one quick favor before we get to the video that you came here for, and that is very simply this. You see that little red subscribe button below this video? Go ahead, smash that subscribe button. It really does help me. It really does help this channel grow and my audience grow. So go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. And now, here is the video that you came here for. All right, so that is why Jalen Duren ended up at Memphis. But from here, what I want to do is kind of change gears and talk about what does it mean for Memphis. Because obviously, look, Penny Hardaway is a lightning rod. Penny Hardaway has not made very many friends. I think in some ways, defended Penny Hardaway. But I'll tell you this. With this commitment, this decision, it is officially go time for Penny Hardaway. He is out of excuses. There is no more this, that, COVID, that, whatever. He's got to win and win big this year, get to the tournament, and have success there. And it was really interesting because when Jalen Duren did commit, probably the first question that I got from quite a few people was, well, Torres, where do you have Memphis right now? Like, where do you have them ranked? And what I would say is this. You look at this roster. It's probably one of the 10 to 12 most talented rosters in college basketball right now. First off, you did just get a commitment from a potential and probably future top 5 pick in the NBA draft. If Penny Hardaway does nothing but get Jalen Duren from today to the NBA draft next year without any hiccups, this should be a top 5 pick. But in addition to him, even if he didn't come, this was still a team that had the talent to make the NCAA tournament, probably finish second in the AAC, and do damage in the NCAA tournament. First of all, they got one of the best transfers in the portal this offseason, a kid named Earl Timberlake, 6'6", 6'7", played at Miami last year. Many people thought he was a potential one-and-done last year, had a bunch of injuries. It didn't work out. He hits the portal, ends up at Memphis. And so Memphis, frankly, not only has Jalen Duren, but maybe a potential other player who could be a first-round pick in 2022. Beyond that, they bring back their top 2 scorers from last year's team, Landers Nolley, who averaged 13 a game, DeAndre Williams, who's a great chess piece, 11.5 points, 6 rebounds, 3.5 assists, just a really, really, really talented player. Lester Quinones is another player who's a really good college player, former top 50-ish recruit. Alex Lomax, a really good college point guard. You bring in Chandler Lawson, a transfer from Oregon. Jonathan Lawson, a 4-star recruit from Memphis. Like, they have a really talented team. And so when you ask me how good I think they can be or where I would rank them, I mean, I probably would have them ranked somewhere to 15 to 20, but part of this also is the reality that Penny Hardaway, I think for the most part, has not delivered as a college head coach. He is now entering year 4, and what I will say is really quick is this, is like, look, I think we all know Penny Hardaway has yet to coach an NCAA tournament game. What I would also say is up until this year, he's kind of had a built-in excuse every single season that he has been at Memphis. Year 1 takes over, Tubby Smith's players, whatever. Year 2 has the top number 1 recruiting class in the country. You bring in James Wiseman. He only plays 3 games. He gets suspended. He never comes back. DJ Jeffries, top 50 player. He's averaging double figures. Gets hurt. Gets lost for the season. So you weren't on track to make the NCAA tournament in 2020. It was obviously canceled because of COVID. And then last year in 2021, you don't make the NCAA tournament. But as I've said many times on this show, I truly do believe that Memphis was, frankly, probably one of the, 68 or so best teams in college basketball by the end of last season. I've talked about it a lot, but they played Houston twice in the last week of the season, once at Houston, once in the conference tournament, and they frankly could have beat Houston both times. If they win even one of those games, they're probably an NCAA tournament team. Instead, they lose both, and they're on the outside looking in come Selection Sunday. But I'm telling you, I think they were one of the 68 best teams in college basketball last year. But I just bring it up to say, Penny has kind of had a little bit of an excuse every single year prior to this year. Well, I'll tell you this. In 2021, 2022, he is officially out of excuses. These are all his players. He obviously has the coaching staff in place that he wants. And he has one of the 15 most talented rosters in college basketball. And oh, by the way, that doesn't even take into account the fact that Amani Bates, the number 1 player in 2022 who just reclassified, he may end up on campus this year as well. But by the way, I talked about Amani Bates on last episode, so if you missed it, go back and listen. But even if Amani Bates does not come to Memphis this year, you're still talking about one of the 15 most talented rosters in the country. I would put him right up there with Houston in the AAC. And so I do think this officially puts the pressure on Penny Hardaway. Penny Hardaway said 2 years ago, we want all the smoke. He kind of gets a pass because of what happened with James Wiseman, because of what happens with DJ Jeffries. Well, this year, there are no excuses. The smoke is coming, and you can either handle it or you can't. And so when I look at this team and this coach and this coaching staff, what I'll say is this. It's not enough. First of all, you just got to make the NCAA tournament, but it's not enough just to make the NCAA tournament. This is a team that has to be good in the regular season. This is a team that has to be good in the postseason. This is the team that has to get to the NCAA tournament. This is a team that has to win in the NCAA tournament. The roster is too talented not to. When I look at this Memphis team, this is not a team, if you're Penny Hardaway and you're trying to build what you say you're trying to build, this can't be a team that is 20-13 and gets into the NCAA tournament as a 10 seed. I know he's never made an NCAA tournament. I know for some schools, some coaches, some programs, it would be enough. Just make the NCAA tournament. People will be happy. Not in Memphis, not with Penny Hardaway, not this roster. I don't think it's just about making the NCAA tournament. I think it is about having a regular season that is reflective of the talent on this roster. Again, you can't go 20-11. You can't go 19-13. You can't go 22-11 and be an 8 seed and get into the NCAA tournament. This is a roster with the talent that they have that should be like, with the schedule that they have in the conference that they play in, this is a roster that really should be like 28-5 going into championship week with an NCAA tournament bid locked up, and it's just a question of how high can they be. You got to be 28-5. You got to be 30-4. You got to be 31-3. Like that is this kind of talent on this kind of roster, and it's on Penny Hardaway to have that kind of regular season to show not only can I recruit, not only can I develop, not only can I get guys ready for the NBA, but I can actually win with them on campus, because at the end of the day, Memphis is no different than Kentucky. It's no different than North Carolina. It's no different than Duke. It's great to win all these recruiting battles, but if you don't win games on the court from November to March, eventually fans stop caring how good the recruiting wins are. You got to win it. You got to win during the regular season. So to me, this is a fascinating year. I am fascinated to see what happens with Memphis, and I think it's officially go time for Penny. Again, you got your guys. You got your coaching staff in place. You are officially out of excuses. This is a team that should be really, really good from start to finish. They're veteran. They're experienced, whatever. And what I would also say is you can't use the excuse of you're new to college basketball anymore, right? Juwan Howard comes in Michigan, year 2, makes an Elite Eight, wins the Big Ten regular season title. Eric Musselman, I know he's not quote-unquote new to college basketball, but year 2 gets Arkansas to the Elite Eight. Nate Oates, year 2 at Alabama, gets Alabama a regular season SEC title, a SEC tournament title, and a Sweet 16 appearance. So the point I'm trying to make, Penny Hardaway, there are no more excuses. You got to get this done right now. And if you can't, we'll see what happens. But I do think you struggle to recruit these types of players if you can't develop them and you can't win with them when they're in college. Finally, what I want to do is just take a quick look at the other 3 options that Jalen Duren seriously considered and really talk about what it means for them and what happens next for each. I want to start with Miami, and what I would just say is this.